Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Through Dishonored with me, your host Tim. We just reached the hub, we escaped from Coldridge Prison. Now we're about to meet the people who rescued us. Let's say hello.
I expect they're hard at work in there. Best join them. They'll help you get whoever really killed the Empress.
Welcome to the Hound Pit Pub, sir. How may I help?
Hello, sir. I am Wallace, and this is Cecilia. We have been informed of your arrival and will do our best to stay out of your way while you conduct your business.
Yes. Lydia's a servant here as well.
If I may, I am the personal assistant to Lord Pendleton, and one of the senior servants at Pendleton House, as was my father. Now I am entrusted with this house, the home of the Loyalists. I have never seen the Admiral fail at any venture. If order can be restored to the city of Dunwall, I believe he can do it. If anyone can get your old life back, it's him.
So it's starting at last, Admiral. We've found our man. Even after 6 months in Coldridge Prison, he slipped out like it was nothing.
Yes. Not surprising. He was the personal bodyguard of the Empress. You've heard the stories.
Yes, I have. It still amazes me that someone could get to the Empress and young Lady Emily.
No one knows the real story, Trevor. We all have our suspicions. We'll know the truth in time.
He's strong and quick. But I hope he understands subtlety as well.
This isn't one of your fancy dress parties. The reality is that we need men killed. Have you ever killed a man?
Only with my wit. But it's a fair point as always. He'll be here soon, and I'm looking forward to meeting him.
We can continue this later, Lord Pendleton. The man of the hour is here. Carvo, I'm Admiral Havelock. A true servant of the Empire, like you. Until the Lord Regent purged those of us who wouldn't recognize his claim on the throne.
And I'm Lord Trevor Pendleton. I represent the nobility in our little group. But we all act as equals here at the Hound Pit's pub.
This is a momentous occasion, Carvo. I'm going to come out with it. We've been building a coalition of loyalists, aimed at ending the Lord Regent's tyranny and restoring the throne.
At risk of execution, we're committed to finding young Lady Emily and seeing her crowned as Empress.
We've got big plans, but we can't do any of it without you. We need your skills, your ability in a fight, and in helping us, we're going to help you destroy the men who murdered the Empress.
Sorry. You must be exhausted. We can discuss this further after you've recovered. But before you retire, you should introduce yourself to Piero. He's challenging at times, but his industrious mind buys him that right.
Yes. Piero's as much an artist as a technician. He's going to be crafting the gear you'll need. Go talk to him, and then get some sleep. We can talk more when you've rested.
I'll be crafting your weapons and gear, all custom work. For you, I will create the tools of a master assassin. No! This cannot happen now. The tank of whale oil is running. Will you get a new tank from upstairs, please, while I hold this in place? Be careful. The oil's unstable. When it explodes, there's a terrible mess. Perfect. Now plug it in. Just get it in. Perfect. Thank you, Cole. Here, see? The assassin's mask. You're a wanted man, so everyone in the city knows your face, but this mask will mean terror to them. If you just hold still, fit must be precise. There. Can you see normally? Center lens out of alignment. There. Better now? I could create more for you. Upgrades for your gear, weapons, munitions. But our situation here is desperate. Scavenge the city for valuables and I will resell them on the black market. That should give us the money to craft the things you need. Tell me what I can make for you.
Let's have a look, Piero. Hello everyone, welcome to the inventory, or the shop as it were, that will be here at the game. These are the costs that you can see for each individual piece of ammunition. Each bullet will be $30, sleep bolts are 30 each, etc, etc. Upgrades are permanent, and thus also more expensive. Generally, unlocking one upgrade will also unlock other ones. For example, if we were to unlock, let's say, our pistol upgrade, we would then unlock, as you can see down below, pistol accuracy 1 and magazine 1, as well as something else I think. It's tricky to get down here, and reload 1. Now, as for me, we don't have that much cash. We only have $841, so I can afford to buy one $600 upgrade or two $300 ones. Let's go ahead and pick up two $300 ones to start. Let's pick up some mask optics to start. This will give me a zoom capability just attached to my mask. This is basically the sniper scope for all weapons is the mask optics. Then with $300 left over, I think we'll take one of these two. Let's upgrade our... We'll upgrade our crossbow range for $450. That's a lot of cash. We'll do it anyway. Okay.
You must be exhausted. I advise that you get some sleep. Your life will get even more difficult soon. You should rest while you can.
I like to look around a while before I bed down. I at least want to be familiar with the area.
Very well. You know best. Let me know if you need anything more.
We're going to take a look around this area and see what we can find. People might have left some garbage lying around, and there's plenty of stuff to read. Actually, let's begin by reading the books we see here. A Second Solution. Excerpt from a series of newspaper articles from prominent natural philosophers by Piero Joplin. Oh, this guy. It is through no fault of my own that the average citizen has expressed a preference for Sokolov's elixir over my own formula, sold as Piero's Remedy, a name I did not choose if you must know the truth. The public has spoken its usual message of idiocy, spending their coin as a means of selecting Sokolov's formula over mine, which I believe to be equal, if not superior. Much has been made over the popularity of these concoctions as a means of resisting this remarkable new plague. I say remarkable because this strain works with an efficiency we have not seen in the history of the Empire. This plague, now making its way to the city of Dunwall, is unrivaled in its effectiveness. I have studied it within the blood of those so afflicted, and it is nearly perfect. Elegant, in fact. And while it is true that Piero's Remedy and Sokolov's elixir are known to protect the body against the plague equally, mine own has properties, not fully understood, which relate to the mind itself and the spirit. And it is in this way that my formula wins out. Here is where one should pay attention to this contest, for you see, Sokolov's elixir, with its emphasis on the brute animal body, is a crass goo better suited for livestock. The subtle and secret variants in the key ingredients making up Piero's Remedy ensure that it works on the higher functions that separate humankind from the mindless blue-jawed hagfish swimming in the Wrenhaven River. We will be finding both Sokolov's elixir and Piero's Remedy as we play the game. Sokolov's elixir is a healing potion. Piero's Remedy is a mana potion. Piero's request is denied. Piero, no, I will not sign off on these purchases. A bag of powdered crystal? TV and ore? What's wrong with the metals and crystal? King sparrow feathers? If you need feathers, sacrifice your own pillow. Maybe at the academy everything you needed was paid for by tariff and handed out willy-nilly. But this is my bar, or what's left of it, and we're operating on a budget. We're running low on oil, food, elixir, building materials, and everything else, so you've got to slow down. While I'm footing the bill, I will not approve of your purchases unless they are absolutely required. No more copper wire or special herbs. If you need those things, go out and scavenge them. Half the city's in ruins, so no one's going to miss any of the odd crap you seem to need. Admiral Havelock. Notes you'll pick up and out of your journal. Books you will just simply scribe into your journal. I do not really know the difference other than books remain in play and notes do not. Sokolov Technology in the New Age. Excerpt from a recent book detailing Sokolov's machines. One of the advantages of Sokolov's technologies is that they share the same magnetic socket for the tanks of processed whale oil they use as fuel. When a tank is exhausted, another can be plugged into place with ease, and the process is simple enough that any common workman or even the lowly guardsman of the city watch can handle the task. This applies to the arc pylon and the wall of light security systems, as well as the powered carriages that are used for transport by those few who are wealthy enough to afford them. The only obvious downside of Sokolov's designs is the volatility of the tanks themselves. A few incidents have occurred, resulting in damage to property or bodily harm whenever one of the tanks has exploded. Throwing a tank will make it explode, I think a second after it impacts the ground. Now, I've thought about this somewhat, and I'm torn between taking all the things lying around this place or leaving them be. However, in the end, we're going to pick up all the loot that we find in the hub. With some exceptions. We'll leave stuff by people while the people are by it, as it were. And we'll just pretend that we've found this stuff lying in areas around the hub. No one seems to mind if you take their things right in front of them in this location. But I would still like to avoid doing so. I won't ruffle through people's personal trunks either, even though I know there's some money in that. Dead counter responsibilities. Excerpt from a manual on New City Watch procedures. Commissioned by the Lord Regent in the face of the growing plague crisis, the dead counter is a position that will only be given to officers, usually of junior or middle grades. In most matters of edict or curfew enforcement, these officers will defer to the acting officer on duty. However, any dead counter will have command in situations related to the plague and the handling of the dead, including those with late-stage plague symptoms, called weepers in common parlance. Starting with the month of rain, interested officers may apply to the test and, if accepted, for the 2-week training tour. Pay will be administered in coin and and rations of elixir at 1 1/2 normal pay grade. Okay, so they expose themselves to more risk of getting sick, but they gain additional elixir and pay for doing so. Failed experiments. Excerpt on a series of lectures on natural philosophy by Piero Joplin. Of course, I have attempted to improve upon Sokolov's designs, of course, and why not? After all, it is likely that his thinking was influenced in some small way by our time together at the Academy. We are all part of a community, striving to unknot the mysteries of the cosmos. Even those among us who possess the greatest minds are often led to a fruitful line of consideration by, how's one say it, our intellectual subordinates. Sokolov is no exception to this, despite the glamour of genius he has cast over the aristocracy. And further, it is true that many of my experiments have failed. No need to gossip about it behind my back in your social clubs and the very chambers of the Academy itself. Great ambition requires risks. You may laugh now at my door to nowhere, but someday you will not. Your children will likely see it as commonly as you see the electric lamps lighting our streets at night. But a few short years ago, you would have laughed at Sokolov's arc pylon or wall of light. Your laughter, your condescending smiles, they are nothing but evidence of your own limited imagination. It's not like a lecture so much as a preaching. Whale vivisection. Excerpt from the notes of a natural philosopher aboard a whaling ship. Remarkably, each specimen I had the pleasure of studying during the voyage possessed some minor variance in physiology. On the second leg of the trip, east of Tivia, The crew hauled aboard a female, some 42 feet in length. I estimate she weighed 35 tons, and the ship sat low, rocking side to side through the night with her thrashing. By candlelight, I took her apart, sketching and taking notes. Against her bellowing, I cut into the massive tentacles around her mouth. Within, I found row upon row of teeth, and a baleen running along the upper jaw. Through this broom-like structure, I assumed she filtered food from the water that was too small to be chewed. Whale oil processing. Excerpt from the founder of the Greaves Whale House by Ebenezer Greaves. Out at sea, they secured the beast with hooks, with lines cast from the main ship and from several smaller boats. Buoys keep the whale from diving deep. Once it is caught, a larger hook is driven through the tail, which is used to hoist the creature up through the chute. They moan and bellow for some time as the men get them onto the deck, then lift them into the scaffolding overhead. The ship adjusts its prow and returns to port in Dunwall, where the crew works on the great creature, slicing off the fattiest parts while it still lives. Wow, that sounds torturous. Whale oil refilling station. Sokolov no longer has the upper hand with regards to supplies of whale oil. The good admiral has paid for the installation of my own system, which will enable me to work in this place. So this is from Piero, I see. The oil tank dispenser, when activated, will produce an empty vessel for filling. When the empty tank is held near the oil tank refill pump, the magnetic attractor should take the tank and lock it in the correct configuration. Using the lever will begin the refilling process. Once refilling is completed, the tank can be removed and placed in service. Extreme caution must be used in handling the full tanks. They are quite unstable. The system is sound and well engineered. It appears that the Greaves Oil Company has done something correctly, for once.
The Academy teaches that absurd idea that the energy in whale oil arises from the need to maintain life functions at extreme ocean depths. The pressure and the cold are too much to endure without it. I speculate that a human being might, by a process of adaptation, produce high-energy humors in the body. I could build a tank that would slowly increase pressure on a subject over a long period of time, and then observe them for years if need be, to see if the formulation of energetic substances develop. Surely the Empress would be able to furnish me with facilities subject and the necessary legal amnesty.
He basically wants to put someone into a tank, pressurize it, and watch what happens to them.
I once served under Admiral Havelock. Captain Havelock then. I don't know if he remembers me, but I fear it's rude to ask. I don't want to embarrass him. I was just a common riverman, hauling parcels and such along the river. But I know how to keep my trap shut, I do.
River traffic is forbidden from landing in the distillery district due to risk of infectious contact. Violators will be taken to the flooded district for treatment and rehabilitation.
The waters around here contain hagfish. These fish will gnaw upon you if you get too close to them, and can kill you if you remain close to them for too long. Too long would be about maybe 10 to 20 seconds in length. Going too far out, there will be currents that push you back toward the shore. You can't go out into the ocean, or see what's across the bay right there, for example. I believe that items that you leave here remain here, and you can pick them up at later points if you so wish. Although, again, truth be told, no one cares if you loot the place or not.
Do not attempt to house or care for a friend or family member who shows signs of blood on their face and chest area. The only way to help them is to bring them to the City Watch. They will be taken to the flooded district for treatment.
That device is what's emitting the statements that we are hearing. Speakers are all throughout Dunwall.
You've met Piero. Good. You'll want to get some rest now. You'll be needed soon.
All the items that we're picking up have different gold totals. However, I have them disabled. I found that a little too distracting when I was playing the game. I also don't feel that Carvo, who is not a thief, would know the prices of the things he's picking up.
Is the man dangerous?
Yes, very much so, but no need to fear. He is here to work with our masters.
People say he killed the Empress.
Of course he didn't. People are foolish and believe whatever they're told.
Okay. If the Admiral trusts him, then so will I. The Admiral served in the Navy under the Empress. But something happened with the Lord Regent that drove the Admiral out. If I understand it right.
Pleased to meet you, Master Carvo. I saw you at court in happier days, but you might not remember. I was once a close ally to the Lord Regent, Hiram Burrows, back when he was just the spy master. He's one manipulative bastard, I can tell you that.
My furnishings have been installed at last with no small amount of complaining by that antiquated boatman. The others have no idea what it's like to suffer as I have. Speaking of which, Wallace,
Please breathe 2 bottles of Dunwall Red, never mind which, and fetch a clean glass. Well, I'll begin again tomorrow.
A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 2. Excerpt from the travel journal of a whaler in his final years. A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 2, or A Gaffer's Final Passage. After more than a quarter of a century, I am done with whaling, too broken to continue. I've seen all the corners of the Isles and made more coin than most men see in a lifetime, but it's all gone. I've lived through an emperor and watched his daughter take the throne, fair young empress she was, but slain so young. Everything beautiful comes to die. I've eaten in every port of the known world, and sailed in the loneliest waters you could imagine. I've seen the cliffs around Pandysia. Even the best of it doesn't give me an ounce of joy. The years come back across my dreams as a line of butchered bodies, long, sleek, and singing in among the waves under the moonlight, only to be speared by ugly, weather-scarred men who knife each other for a good pair of boots. Each year I had less time to come home. My tongue forgot the language of small chatter, and those who lived in the cities thought me odd. My sister Nina hardly knew what to say to me during our visits. When she lost her business to the Lord Regent's crooked barrister, I was 100 miles east of Morlaix, gaff hand frozen from the sleet as we tracked the first bull whale we'd seen in months. I helped her as much as I could, but Nina died in the early days of the plague. None of it mattered. If I'm jaded and bitter, it's because this industry has taken away my dreams. The world has beaten me.
Log entry 1-4. It seems we've moved to a new phase. Martin's improvisations have borne fruit. The former bodyguard has been freed and is en route to the staging location. With Pendleton's voting bloc and my military connections, all we've lacked is the ability to project lethal force in a controlled manner against a previously inaccessible... to the point, we need a man who can kill the bastards for us. Carvo is more than capable of that, I have no doubt. N-bomb. Is this off? Switch. Switch, where the hell is the...
Havelock Log Entry 1. It has been days since our men were dispatched to stash weapons for Carvo in the old sewer. They have not returned, so I can only hope that they succeeded in getting the packages delivered. Piero spent considerable time and resources making those things. If I could find a way to mass-produce them, the Dunwall Navy would secure its place as the dominant force on the globe. But back to Carvo. Can he actually break out of Coldridge, and if so, will he make his way here? I personally give him odds of 1 in 5. Admiralty and the Fleet, or Admiralty and the Fleet. Excerpt from a book on naval history. While each of the Isles has some form of naval fleet, none is more envied than that of Bristol, with its long, proud history of great ships and the admirals who command them. Boys come of age in the cities of Bristol, hoping to someday captain such a ship, and family dynasties are made of those captains, who track down infamous pirates or crush seditious uprisings, as during the Morlaix insurrection. In times of war and peace, Bristol continues to innovate at sea. The ship design of Anton Sokolov himself now represent the highest standard in the whaling trade, allowing crews to haul up their kill over the deck and begin their butchery and processing, even as the ship returns to Dunwall. The crews can be seen working on their latest whale as the ship moves slowly up the Wrenhaven River, coming to dock with one of the powerful warehouse companies, such as the Greaves Whaling House. Suspended in the rigging overhead and backlit by the setting sun, the silhouette of one of these creatures makes a moving sight as it cruises to its final resting place in the industrial heart of the capital city. They're talking about Dunwall here, how we have the strongest navy and generally produce the best ships. A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 1. Excerpt from the travel journal of a young whaler. A Gaffer's Tale, Volume 1, or A Gaffer's Early Adventures. My sister Nina and I left Tivia together, saying goodbye to our aunt, the woman who had raised us since childhood. Leaving behind our home city of Yarrow and the cold but beautiful white landscapes we had always known, we boarded a ship for Dunwall. Our parents had left us with a sizable inheritance, and we spent half of this getting to the capital city and establishing a small import shop dedicated to Tyvian furs. Once I'd helped Nina establish the business, I was free to pursue my dream. Signing on with a whaling ship was the most exciting thing I'd ever done, and I saw it as a means to an end. Someday, I would captain my own crew, and eventually own a fleet of similar vessels. With tears in her eyes, Nina kissed me farewell, and I did not see her again for many months. As an apprentice to the gaffer, I got to see the tracking and killing of the great beasts up close. Nothing had ever fired my spirit so, as the wind and pounding waves racing after a wounded whale, being pulled by the skein of cables embedded in its thick flesh. I changed more in those first 7 months than I had in the previous 7 years. Whaling was beginning to put its mark on me so that Nina barely recognized me when I returned, tanned and sinewy with muscle, weather creases already wrinkling the corners of my eyes. But she could see that I was filled with joy, having found my purpose.
Attention all citizens. Curfew extends from sundown to sunrise unless you are otherwise authorized. Violators will be subject to interrogation and detained when necessary. Remember, the boldest measures are the safest.
My, you must be Carvo. I am Lydia, at your service. Your room is upstairs and ready. When they told me who it was, well, I thought you'd be older, like the Admiral.
Litany on the White Cliff. Excerpt from a series of Overseer invocations by High Overseer Abraham Templeton. And I say to you, brothers, it is here that we make our stand as a righteous force against the growing darkness. It is here that we unite against the spirits of the unknown that would drag us screaming into the night, never to return to our homes, to our families. Together we will serve as a rod to those who would stray from the herd, for the foggy gray wastes of the outsider. We will burn a bright fire with our virtuous actions so that others will not lose their way. And to those who choose to wander beyond the walls of our homes, in far places, we will strike at them swiftly before they whisper to their neighbors, filling their hearts with strangeness and doubt.